Good morning. Today is Wednesday, June 29th, day 129. I am just leaving the Travel Lodge in Great Barrington, Vermont, coming off of a relaxing 0-day. And I'm feeling better, feeling ready to get back on trail and to continue heading north. So I'm just waiting on my shuttle driver to get here. He should be here in just a few minutes, and then we will take off and get back to it. Take a trail stick. No thanks. Can y'all believe I've had these shoes for over 500 miles now? I picked these up back in Front Royal, Virginia, which was like mile 972. And now I'm around mile 1530. So that's quite a ways, and they're still looking pretty good. Look at them, barely any like noticeable wear and tear, which is great. Usually the little lip on the front here will start to raise up. As you can see, it's starting to do that now, but for a lot of people I talk to, that starts to happen like within the first 150, 200 miles, but mine is only just starting now. And yeah, they're looking pretty good, still feeling good, not causing me any pain or discomfort. I mean, my feet were hurting in Pennsylvania, but I blame Pennsylvania for that and all those rocks. So yeah, I think I might have these longer than I had my Keens, which is a good thing. I'm probably gonna try to see if I can put at least 800 miles on these. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But go Topo. Ooh, we like. So I'm not 100% sure what my current plan is for the day, but I think I'm starting to figure it out. Initially, I wanted to do about 17 and a half or close to 18 miles to get to this campsite called Cheshire Campground, but I have been looking at the comments regarding that campsite and talking to other hikers, and apparently that site has been riddled with bear activity quite a bit this year, and over the last few years it seems like there are bears that just sort of hang around that campsite. And I talked to a few hikers today who all said that they don't really want to camp there. So I don't think I really want to camp there either, even though I really wanted to do like closer to 20 miles today. So my next option is to stop at a shelter, which I believe is called Wilcox Shelter, which would put me at 13 miles on the day. And I guess that's going to be my option because there are no other like campgrounds or shelters closer to Cheshire Campground. Like the next shelter or site would have me doing like 27 miles today, and I'm definitely not doing that. So I think today might be a shorter day. And then I'll have to add the extra 3-4 miles that I'm losing to tomorrow. So tomorrow will be something like a 22, close to 23 mile day. So yeah, I think that's what I'm shooting for right now. I'd rather play it smart, and I'm at least thankful that all of Massachusetts has bear boxes, so I don't really have to worry about hanging my food bag in this state And I'm happy about that because my food bag is quite full and heavy, and I don't want to have to deal with that. So yeah, I'll keep you updated as we get a little further along. So we're moving right along today. Got about 8 miles done. And check this out. Great Barrington is the birthplace of W.E.B. Du Bois. I had no clue. So I decided to take a little lunch break here at South Mountain Wilcox Shelter. And there were a couple other hikers here having lunch as well. One of them I have been seeing for the last several days on trail, and his name is Hey Squirrel. So I was talking to him, and his plan for today is to stop at Cheshire Campground for the night, which, as y'all know, that was the campground that I was originally going to stop at today to make it a 17 or close to 18 mile day. Since he says that he's still going to go there, I think that I'm going to take my chances and go there as well. So looks like we'll get a 17 or close to 18 mile day in after all. And at least I won't be there by myself, so we can take our chances with the bears together. But they do have a bear box there, so I don't think it should be that big of an issue. And I haven't really seen any recent reports of bear activity. The last ones were from May. So that puts me at a little less than 6 more miles to do today. And it's only a little after 2, so I've got plenty of time and should be a nice, easy day. This is quite nice and very serene. This does not make me feel comfortable at all. A large bear and 3 cubs spotted ahead 1/10 of a mile on June 14th. That was about 2 weeks ago. There's been a lot of reported bear sightings in this area, and me hiking in this area alone makes me feel very uncomfortable, but let us pray that I'll be all right. Now, I haven't seen or heard any signs of any bear activity in the area today. It's been really quiet and peaceful, actually, but I'm still a little on edge. I guess I'm trying to find some comfort in the fact that the last reported sightings were from at least 2 weeks ago, and there's been nothing or no other comments since then. But ever since we got to Connecticut, all the locals have been talking about seeing bears, and yeah, they're definitely out and around. Back in Great Barrington, I caught up with Sunfish, and a small group of us went to the brewery that was right next to the hotel to have a meal, and he was showing us a bear that he saw in Connecticut, and it came quite close to him. I guess it was just sort of sniffing around, didn't smell anything that it would consider a meal, so it kept on going and minded its own business. But just seeing his video and how close he was to it, oh, that made me nervous. And yeah, this Cheshire campground that I'm going to right now has had a lot of bear activity going back to 2018. That's what the far out app says. But they put a bear box there. I guess as long as you use the bear box correctly and make sure that you keep all scented items out of your tent, then you should be fine. I'm just hoping that I don't see or hear anything, because I'm gonna be on edge all night tonight. And something told me to stop back at that North Wilcox shelter. I know Daisy and Sunshine are stopping back there. And I don't even think I told y'all that I met back up with them on trail. I don't know if y'all remember, but they stayed in the very first hostel that I was in back in Georgia, above the clouds. That should be in the very first episode that I posted. And it was where everyone who was there that night had their stay paid for by someone. But yeah, funny enough, I hadn't seen them since the Roan Highlands in Tennessee. And they've taken a bunch of time off trail. And I've taken quite a bit of time off trail and taken zeros and stuff. And it all just seemed to work, where we ended up in the same place again at the same time. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I say all that to say they were a little nervous about going to the Shaker campground. So they are planning to stop back at the last shelter that I passed. Yeah, we're gonna see how we feel. If I get there and I don't see anyone else there and I don't feel comfortable, I might just push another 10 miles to get to Goose Pond Cabin, because at least I know that's a safer place to be. But Hey Squirrel said he was coming here, so I hope that he really is. So this is Shaker Campground. Just made it about 17.5 miles on the day. So I think I am going to go ahead and set up here. And I'm just going to have to be really vigilant with my food and just making sure I store everything properly. But again, I'm very thankful that there's a bear box show. So shouldn't have any problems with that. So it's about 7 o'clock now, and it turns out that more hikers showed up. So we've got about 6 or 7 of us here total, and I feel much more at ease about staying here tonight. I'm so glad. I'm not scared anymore. Try it now, bears. So I've already eaten dinner and my tent and stuff is all set up. So I'm probably just going to go crawl in and, do whatever. While I was on my 0 day yesterday, I got into this whole below deck marathon on TV. So I was so invested that I decided to purchase the entire season on Amazon Prime. So I have a little bit of service here. So I'm going to try to see if I can watch an episode or two before I go to sleep. And then we'll get back to it tomorrow. So this is probably going to do it for tonight. I will see y'all later. Good night. All right, so it is a little past 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, June 30th. Today is day 130. Thankfully, we had no issues with bears or any other animals last night. So I got a really good night's sleep, and now I'm ready to continue on. So let's make it happen. So just about 2 miles on the day so far, and I just reached this really cool AT trail stand. Basically, this works off of the honor system, just like that last stand that I saw back in Pennsylvania. So there are tons of things here that you can grab: sodas, eggs, Pop-Tarts, ice cream, and popsicles. And all the prices are listed right here on the door. So you take what you want, and you can either Venmo the person who runs this place or just leave the cash in this little envelope. It's still pretty early and I just ate breakfast, so I'm not really gonna take anything, but I did write my name on the door. So I've hiked about 7 miles today and it's around 11:15. So I'm making some pretty good progress. Hasn't really been a whole lot to see. I've just been climbing and walking through the woods just like every day. I do feel like Massachusetts has a much different feel than Connecticut. You know, Connecticut is known as the gateway to New England, but it didn't really feel like New England to me. It was still super hot and humid and muggy. But here in Massachusetts, the weather has been very nice over the last couple of days. Not nearly as hot. The humidity is at a reasonable level. The forest feels nice and cool with a lot of tree cover. And yeah, everything's been pretty calm and quiet. So in about 2.5 to 3 miles, I will be reaching Upper Goose Pond, which is a body of water that people can swim in. You can rent canoes and stuff. So I think I'm going to take a little break there when I get there in about an hour. There's also a cabin there that hikers can stay in called the Goose Pond Cabin or something like that. And there's a caretaker there who makes pancakes for hikers in the morning. So I debated just doing a 10-mile day today and staying there. But I think I'm just going to stop there for a little lunch break, sort of take in the surroundings, maybe take a dip in the pond, and then I'm going to keep going another 10 miles or so. So I learned that there is a family 10 miles north of the Goose Pond Cabin, and they love hikers. They will give you lemonade and cookies, and for a few hikers who ask, they will let you camp there. So I'm going to see if they might let me either camp there or pay $10 to sleep in a bus that they have. So that is my plan for today. But for right now, let's get to Upper Goose Pond. Okay, so here we have the Goose Pond Cabin. Such a bright, pretty red, huh? So I met the caretaker. His name is Michael. He's in the back right now making a fire, so y'all can see the smoke. That's where it's coming from. I just had lunch on the porch, and I'm about to go down to the dock to check out the pond and maybe take a little dip. It's not quite as hot as I would like it to be, but still kind of want to see what the water feels like. It does feel quite good. Look at that. So no, I didn't really record the second half of today because I didn't really feel like it, and I was kind of in a bad mood again today. This hike is just really hard, and I am really struggling to get through this day after day. We ended up doing 21 and a half miles. Made it to this place called the Cookie Lady, which is actually like a blueberry farm or something like that. They allow hikers to tent out in the lawn, and because I decided to give a little bit of an extra donation, they allowed me to sleep in this little schoolie bus. So this is where I'll be tonight. Feels pretty comfortable, and I'm glad that I don't have to set up or break down a tent in the morning. So I don't really know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Dalton is about 10 miles away, so my first plan is to just hike there. And then Cheshire is another 10 miles beyond that, but I'm not really sure if I want to do another 20-mile day. These 20-mile days are becoming quite the challenge, honestly. But we'll see. It's getting late. It's a little after 9, and I'm about to go to sleep, so I'll catch y'all in the morning. Good night. All right, it's time to leave the Cookie Lady home and get back to trail. Really don't want to, but I have to. And here's the bus that I slept on last night. Actually got a pretty decent sleep. But let's go. So today is Friday, July 1st. What is it, day 131? Can't remember. I think it's 131. Yeah, that's right. So I'm not really sure what I'm doing today. I don't really feel like hiking anymore. And that's kind of every day at this point. But gotta keep going. So in about 9.5 miles, I will reach the town of Dalton. And I think I am going to stop there for lunch. And then after lunch, I think I might continue on another 8 or 9 miles to the town of Cheshire. And that would make it like an 18 and a half mile day. I'm getting to the point where I don't really want to do like 20-mile days anymore. I'm feeling pretty just wiped. And like I can't get this over fast enough, and I just keep thinking like if I keep doing 20-mile days, then this will be over sooner. But I'm just so tired. I'm so tired. I really do not want to do this anymore. So I don't know. That little group that I had met last week, Professor Neo and Gumby, they're still like a couple days behind me. Today they're planning to get to Goose Pond Shelter, which I stopped at yesterday. And they were telling me that they want to spend the 4th of July on top of Mount Greylock, which is the tallest climb that we have in Massachusetts. But the 4th of July isn't until Monday, and today's Friday. And based on my little schedule, I will be going over Mount Greylock tomorrow. So I have to decide if I want to wait for them and go up Greylock on the 4th of July, or if I just want to catch them up trail somewhere else. I'm not really sure. I know that I'm tired of just being by myself, but I don't know. I like to sit for a few days and not get any miles done. That's gonna kill me because I'm so tired of looking at this trail. I'm so tired of looking at the number of miles ahead of me, which I think is still like 630 something, 600. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. At this point, it's just like podcasts and music getting me through the day. Before, I never wanted to listen to anything. I just liked hearing my surroundings, but now all I can hear are my thoughts, and they are not too nice right now. So yeah, I'm gonna get moving. Don't know how much I'm really gonna record today because I'm pretty over it. So we'll see. I'm so glad this stretch into Dalton is supposed to be fairly easy and relatively flat, because I really don't feel like it today. And there is one climb in between Dalton and Cheshire. A gentleman who I just met in a parking lot, and he gave me some trail magic, said that it's really not difficult at all, but we'll have to see how I feel after Dalton, because it is supposed to get pretty hot today, like close to 90 degrees and really humid. And I just went through that last weekend and it was quite miserable. So we'll have to see if I'm just gonna stop in Dalton or keep going to Cheshire. Yeah, but when I get to Dalton, I'm supposed to be meeting an Instagram follower for lunch. So that should be pretty nice. I heard there's a diner and also a sub shop in Dalton, so I'll have a good lunch today. And the trail goes right through town, so I won't have to worry about like getting off trail or walking down any side roads or anything like that. But yeah, I'm just trying to pick my spirits up, and I'm finding it to be quite a challenge. So right now I'm standing on top of Warner Hill, and someone told me that you could see Mount Greylock from here, especially since it's such a nice clear day. And that peak all the way in the back there, I believe that is Mount Greylock, which I will be climbing tomorrow as long as I can make it to Cheshire today. And I know that's Mount Greylock because I can see the little fire tower or observation tower on top of it, which I don't know if you can really see in this video, but Mount Greylock is the tallest peak that I will be going over here in Massachusetts, and obviously it is taller than everything else around. So there we go. Okay, so it is right around 1:30 p.m. and I am hiking out of Dalton. I have just 7.5 more miles to get to Cheshire or Cheshire. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And basically this next little stretch is going up and over this mountain. But I've heard that it's not a difficult climb at all. So I'm ready to get today over with. And I've been saved by yet another trail angel today. Her name is Leslie. She thru hiked in 2019. She messaged me that she lived in the area and that she would come out to support me. So she picked me up at the trailhead when I got into Dalton, took me to a little diner in town to grab lunch, and then she drove me back to the trailhead, and she's gonna meet me in Cheshire. And basically now I'm slack packing for the second half of the day. She took all my heavy stuff, and she's gonna meet me at the end of the day and take me back to her home for the night. And I am very appreciative of her because I needed a break, and now I'm getting one. Now I will say, the place where she picked me up right as I got into Dalton is not the same place where she is dropping me off. So basically the trail runs right through the center of Dalton for about 1.5 miles, and you're just basically walking down the street. And I felt like I didn't really need to do that and didn't really need to see that. So I did skip that 1.5 miles with Leslie's help. And I know all the purists out there are gonna go up in arms, but I don't care. I'm almost 1,600 miles in, and I've only skipped 1.5 miles, which is basically walking through a town. I'm not mad about that. And if you are, I think you need to find something to do with your time and energy. But anyways, I'm excited to get today over with. So let's not waste any time. Let's get over this mountain so that we can get to Leslie's house. So I've made it to Cheshire, Massachusetts. Thank you, Jesus. Today is over. Another 18.5 miles in the books. I think I'm gonna try to find some ice cream while I wait for Leslie to come pick me up, and she's gracious enough to let me crash at her place tonight. So very happy and excited. All right, so today is Tuesday, July 2nd, day 132, and it's time to make our way up and over Mount Greylock, which is the highest peak since somewhere in Virginia. So today should be interesting. It's about a 7.5, close to 8 mile climb. But I hear it's pretty gradual, so hopefully it'll be fairly easy. And then a 6 mile down climb on the other side. As you can see, the weather is not amazing. It does feel pretty good outside, but there are some reports of scattered thunderstorms today, so I hope I don't get caught in any. I'm slack packing today. Leslie just dropped me back off where she picked me up yesterday in Cheshire, and she's gonna pick me up on the other side of the mountain and take me back to her home for a second night. So it'll be a 14.5 mile day today. So I recognize that my videos might be getting a little shorter. I'm not really providing as much footage throughout the day. And honestly, that's because I'm just not feeling it like that. At this point, I think I've made it pretty clear that I haven't been enjoying this hike too much anymore. And I'm losing motivation every day. I don't really feel motivated to hike anymore. I don't feel motivated to climb up any of these mountains anymore. And I don't feel motivated to continue pulling out my phone and recording shit. Y'all see behind me? All you see is trees and leaves and dirt. That's what I'm looking at every day. And I'm like, if I'm spending the whole day just walking in this green tunnel, like, I don't want to pull my phone out to just keep showing the same shit. And honestly, I don't have much to talk about at the moment. Mentally, I've just been feeling very negative, and I know I've been trying to provide like an honest, authentic account of my experience, but I figure I don't need to jump in front of a camera every day and just keep talking about how miserable I am and how much I don't want to be out here anymore. Like, I think y'all get the picture. So for most of the day, I don't really feel like recording. I'm honestly just trying to get the day over with. And I feel like that again today. So might not record a whole lot today. Honestly, for the next 7 miles, I'm just gonna be climbing. So I'm gonna be way too exhausted to even think about pulling my phone out. But you know, if I'm feeling inspired or see something that really catches my eye, maybe I'll pull it out and record. But if not, then I'll just see y'all when I see y'all. And at this point, I'm almost feeling like I'm ready to like stop vlogging. Like, this is harder than you know. It's harder than you think. Anything that you can imagine as far as difficulty, it's even harder. Physically, this is so daunting. Mentally, this is so draining. I'm running on fumes. And I still have about 600 miles to go. And I honestly don't know how I'm going to get through this without like having a complete breakdown. I really don't know. Every day I feel like I'm closer to just wrapping it up and going home. People keep telling me, oh, just keep going, just stick with it, you're almost there. And I'm like, no, I'm not almost there. Have you ever walked 600 miles before? That takes a minute. And I know people are trying to be helpful and supportive, but that shit does not help. Y'all see a few minutes of every day. A few minutes of me struggling and not feeling amazing when I'm really feeling like this all day long. But I'm trying. I started this and I'm trying to finish it. And it's just all me doing all this work all by myself. So I say all that to say, I hope y'all can understand. But if you don't, I don't really know what to tell you. And I don't really care. So I've knocked about 5 miles out of this climb in just over 2 hours. I'm pretty happy with that. And I have about 2.5 more miles up to the summit. And I hear there's a lodge up there, so hopefully they will sell like little snacks and beverages. I really want a coffee and a soda and maybe a fry or something. Finally, they put food at the top of these climbs. I've been asking for that since I don't know how long ago. So at this point, I'm about a half a mile from the summit of Greylock. But look at how pretty this pond is. This is beautiful. Looks like we have reached the summit. Thank you, Jesus. Now to find this lodge and see if maybe there's food and drink nearby.
Just before dark, he arrived at the summit and he slept over. It was the most prominent, let's say, lodger in the sphere. And at the time, he only built the shelter was this two-story building that had been built by one of his colleagues. He made a bed for himself in the base and went to sleep. Woke up the next day in the fog and described himself.
The storm blew in and made it a complete washout. But I'm tired of waiting and I'm ready to get off this mountain, so let's get out of here. All right, so it looks like the storm has passed. So I'm now making my way down the other side of Mount Greylock. Basically, as soon as I got up there, I noticed these storm clouds rolling in. And I was like, well, I guess I better get a little comfortable because I'm not about to try to race down this mountain in a storm. So I went into the lodge, got something to eat, and then all of these day hikers ended up in the lodge and we were all just sort of waiting out the storm. And once I saw that things were starting to clear up, I booked it because I was getting a little irritated. You know, people got dogs and they bring them in the lodge and the dogs start barking at everybody, trying to protect their owners. And y'all know I ain't a big fan of dogs on trail. So yeah, it's going on 3 o'clock. I'm hoping I can get down this mountain in like 2 hours without falling and hurting myself, because now everything's wet and muddy and slippery. But the climb up really wasn't that bad, and I think it's partially because I'm slack packing, but also the climb just wasn't that bad. It wasn't super steep aside from like the very beginning. And I'm hoping that the down climb isn't that bad either, but it looks a little steeper than the other side that I came up. So let's just get off this thing. Good morning. Today is Sunday, July 3rd, day 133. Leslie's husband just dropped me off back at the trailhead in North Adams, and it's time to head into Vermont. State number 12 out of 14, and I'm just 3 miles away. And I'm also 3 miles away from the 1,600 mile mark, so I'm feeling pretty anxious and ready to go. I had a good night's sleep last night. Leslie and her husband really took care of me, fed me well, and I am definitely appreciative of them. But we got to get this hike over with, so it's time to continue north. Oh God, it's a swarm of gnats. Might need to use my head net today. We're going into Vermont. I just walked right up on this 1,600 mile marker sign without even realizing it. Man, I've come a long way, and I'm definitely feeling every single mile at this point. So this makes it a little less than 600 miles to go. That's good, but still not good enough for me, so we've got more work to do. And not even a mile past the 1,600 mile mark, we have reached Vermont. State number 12 out of 14. And the first 100 miles of Vermont also belong to the long trail. So this is a trail that's been on my list for a while. So looking forward to seeing what the first 100 miles are like. So this is my first time ever being in Vermont. And honestly, in all the years that I've been fascinated with the AT, I can't really explain why, but I've always sort of had my eye on Vermont. And this has always been the state that I've been the most fascinated in. And Maine is a close second, but Vermont was always at the top of that list for me. I don't know what it is. I've never been here before, like I just said, but you know, it seems like a pretty cool state, and it seems like a place that I could potentially spend some time in the near future. So yeah, I thought that, hey, how you doing? Or not. I thought that crossing into this state, I would be a little more excited and a little more enthused, but I think I've just ran out of excitement and enthusiasm, and I just don't feel anything, halfway don't care. I'm just fucking here, and that's all right. I forget how many miles or how many AT miles are in Vermont. I want to say it's like 170 or something like that. And I know the first 100 miles are also the long trail, which I may have already said. And at one point in time, this trail was on my list of hikes that I wanted to do. So I guess this first 100 miles will give me a little taste of what it's all about. So I just stopped for a little snack break here at this South Warner shelter, which is about 3 miles into the state. And when I got here, there were a couple of section hikers who actually thru hiked the AT last year. And they took off as I was eating. And I saw that one of them left one of their water bottles. So now I'm taking off to see if I can catch up to them to return it, because it is quite warm out today and they are gonna need water. And they literally just filled up and then left the bottle. So let's see if I can find them to return their water bottle. So I would hope someone would do that for me. Oh my gosh, look at this view. I'm about to say it, but I think I'm starting to feel something that I haven't felt in a while on this trail. And I'm not quite sure what that means exactly, but I hope I feel more of it in the coming days and weeks. Yo, Vermont is really playing no games with me today. She is like, you will recognize that I am stunning. And I'm just like, okay, baby, I'm here for it. So I've done about 13.5 miles today, and I'm planning to stop in a half a mile at the next shelter, which I think is called Congdon shelter or something like that. Gary Rocksteady is there, so I finally caught back up to him, and he actually told me that I should grab water at this stream before I get to the shelter because the flow there isn't that great. But just as a little update for today, I did catch up to that couple and give them their water bottle back, and we also ran into some trail magic. This guy by the name of Papa Bear, who thru hiked last year, came out with food. So I had a couple hot dogs, and I actually needed to resupply, so I wasn't quite sure where I was going to do that. But since Papa Bear brought out so many snacks and foods and dinners, I was able to grab a few days worth of food from him. So thank you to him for coming out. He had posted on Far Out that he wasn't going to be doing trail magic until tomorrow, so we lucked up and he came out a day early, so I guess the trail is providing. So far, Vermont has been quite beautiful and not too challenging. I wish it would stay like this. I think it is going to be beautiful, but the not so challenging part, I don't know about. So I'm going to grab water now and then head into the shelter and wrap up today.